Bournes and Biscuits. Letters from a Dog Named Bobs by Enid Blyton. Woof! Meet Bobs the dog. Bobs was an inquisitive, cheeky and utterly lovable fox terrier who belonged to the author Enid Blyton. Bobs was part of a happy household that was full of animals, including other dogs, cats, tortoises, ducks and hens. Enid Blyton wrote weekly letters to her young readers as if Bobs were writing them himself, telling children about the adventures he was having and the mischief he was getting himself into. The letters appeared in the weekly publication Teacher's World from 1929 to 1945. 7th of January. Dear children, well, here I am with my book of letters for you, tails and whiskers. When I look at all these letters I've written, I'm surprised that my paw isn't worn out. I am proud that I have so many friends. I am sure no dog is so lucky as I am. I have Gillian and Imogen to play with at home, and Sandy to sleep in my kennel to keep me company, and I have Pitter-Pat to squabble with and Cosy her kitten to play with. There is old Thomasina in the garden to talk to, and there is Goldie the canary to sing me a song when I ask her. I wonder if you have as many pets as we have. Paw shakes to all of you, from Bobs. 14th of January. Dear children, yesterday we went for a walk with Mistress and Sandy was jumping about like a mad thing. Mistress laughed and said, "Isn't Sandy full of beans this morning?" So I looked at him and he did seem a little fatter than usual, though that might have been because of Christmas. "Where did you find the beans?" I asked Sandy. "You are a mean thing to gobble them all up without offering me a single one. I shall go and find some too." So I went into the gardener's shed and poked about with my nose, which can smell much better than my eyes can see, and I found a box of nice red-coloured beans, so I ate them all up. But Bones and Biscuits, I soon didn't want to run or jump about at all, like Sandy. I felt dreadfully ill, really I did. I went to Mistress with my tail down, and she said, "Whatever's the matter, Bobs? Have you been naughty?" And I said, "No, Mistress, I'm full of beans." "Indeed, you're not full of beans," said Mistress. "You look a very miserable little dog to me. Not full of beans at all. I'd better give you some medicine." Then I asked Sandy if he'd eaten a different sort of bean to make him feel so frisky, but he said he hadn't eaten any beans at all. Oh, boys and girls, I simply can't understand it. Can you? Plenty of beans, from Bobs. 21st January. Dear children, somebody grand is coming to visit old Thatch. I don't know who it is. Mistress hasn't told me. It might be a king or a princess. Fancy that. Do you know how I know? Well, Mistress has put a most beautiful white carpet down all over the garden at old Thatch. I suppose she doesn't know quite which gate our great visitor is coming in, so she has laid the carpet all over the grass and the paths and the beds too. It looks and feels like white velvet. I told Sandy not to tread on it with his dirty feet, but he said, "How can I help it, silly? I must tread somewhere, mustn't I? And the carpet is everywhere, so I'm afraid he's rather spoilt it. Today when the sun came out, I took a peep out of my kennel to see if our grand visitor had come, and, do you know, that beautiful carpet had got holes in it here and there. I don't know what Mistress will say. I am sure she must have paid a great deal of money for it, and is wearing very badly indeed. I've asked Gillian to get a needle and white cotton out of her little work basket and mend the holes, but she just laughed at me and said, "Bobs, if you will get me a nice piece of warm ice to suck, I'll mend the snow carpet." Anyway, well, boys and girls, I've tried and tried to warm a piece of ice, and I simply can't. You might tell me how to. You're so clever, aren't you? Snow, sniffs and snorts from Bobs. 28th of January. Dear children, Mistress was telling somebody the other day that dormice, hedgehogs and some other creatures hibernate for the winter. She said hibernate meant going to sleep in a sheltered corner, but first of all she said the animals had a very good meal and were fat and comfortable. Well, this sounded like a splendid idea to me, because I often find it very cold in the winter, so I have decided to hibernate too. I've had a very good meal. I went into the kitchen and found the large door open. I ate up all the fish that had been cooked for the cats. I ate 3 sausages that were sitting on a plate. I crunched up 3 bones out of the stock pot and bit a piece out of a jam sandwich. That was quite a good meal, wasn't it? I don't think Mistress would mind, because after all, if I hibernate, she won't have to feed me at all in the winter, will she? So I shall save her a lot of money. Now I feel fat and comfortable, just ready to hibernate for weeks and weeks. I'm going to lie down and sleep on some old sacks in the potting shed. If I don't wake up in time to write to you next week, I'll get Sandy to send you a note. Your loving hibernator, Bobs.